Everybody that performed so far, I want you all to stand up.
Woo! Round of applause. Woo!
It takes a tremendous amount of courage to get up on this stage and be vulnerable and speak your truth and to let the audience know who you are. So I commend all of you. And all I have to say about that is stay true to yourself. Stay authentic. Always speak your heart. And a little bit about me. Yes, I'm the black, Indian, radical, socialist, whatever you may want to call me. All I know is I'm right here. I'm about to speak truth to power. Now, everybody talks about immigration as one of the hot topics, hot button issues, and those of us that come from Native American ancestry, I come from the Cherokee descendant of the Blackfoot. We have a different take on immigration, because we say if you really want to know about immigration, ask a Native American. Ask about Christopher Columbus. So this piece is called Alienation.
Woo!
The aliens are coming! The aliens are coming! The aliens are coming! The aliens are coming! No, this is not Star Wars or Star Trek or Battlestar Galactica. This is reality featuring white Anglo-Saxon terrorists masquerading as intelligent life forms, trying to generate panic in the streets, shouting into their bullhorns, claiming that south of the border, those dang Mexicans are plotting and planning to take over. And the public is petrified as they watch the news reports, pulling back the curtains to their all-American homes, frightened at the prospect of what might happen to their tight-knit suburbia. The aliens are coming! The aliens are coming! Oh my God, they might not just clean our houses and mow our lawns, they might actually move in and become our neighbors. You see, I'd love to watch George Lopez on TV, but I don't want him to move in next to me. 12 million illegal aliens squatting in our beloved country, the land of the free, the home of the brave. I know what I'll do. I'll sign up with the Minutemen so I can take out a view for the grand old USA. Corporate mainstream TV feeds the public daily soundbite misinformation, laying the blame of the sinking of the economic Titanic on these undocumented miscreants, taking all the low-wage jobs and leeching our social services and not paying any taxes and contributing to the crime wave. That's right, they're corrupting my system. No wonder I can't get a promotion. No wonder my children can't get jobs. No wonder I have to give up my civil liberties, all for the sake of homeland security. It's these spics, taco niggas, wetbacks, beaners, these illegal aliens. Why do they hate us so? We have to take our country back. We're losing our country. By 2050, we will be in the minority. No more One Tree Hill. No more Gilmore Girls. No more Friends. No more 90210. No more Gossip Girl. All of our TV shows will be in subtitles. Our major networks will sound like Telemundo. We'll have to watch endless reruns of Chico and the Man. You see, I love to watch George Lopez on TV, but I can't stomach too much of that ethnic TV. The aliens are coming! The aliens are coming! No more Victoria's Secret. It'll be Margarita's Secret. Chiquita will actually be owned by Hispanic people. My mid-level managers will have names like Hector and Juan and Casuela and Juanita, and they'll be shouting in my ear, "Si se puede, bitch." My white picket fence won't be white anymore. It'll be Pueblo. My housekeeper will be white. The food in my children's daycare center will consist of churros and tacos and tortillas and empanadas and enchiladas. Cinco de Mayo will become a national holiday. The national anthem will be bilingual. Oh my God. I'm going to have to learn another language like the rest of the world. This is sacrilege. This is un-American. You see, I love to watch George Lopez on TV, but only to a point can I tolerate diversity. The aliens are coming! The aliens are coming! Now, out of curiosity, if 12 million Hispanics are illegal aliens, then what do you call the millions of Europeans who are here illegally? Refugees, evacuees, just visiting for a few generations? See, when it comes to humanity, the word alien is just another code word for racism. And in the white halls of Congress, lawmakers are passing all these laws to make their country their way, while their own undocumented workers enslaved away at their luxurious estates, just like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, the founding fathers, who declared that all men are created equal, while their own enslaved Africans worked their plantations. Alien. What do you call an alien? It is alien to us that you will call human beings aliens, especially when you were alien to the Native Americans who took you in and nursed you to health and helped you to feed yourselves and helped you to build your colonies, only for you to turn around and say, all right, you prairie niggas, from now on, this land is mine. I'll be moving you to less desirable locations, which I will call reservations. What is alien to us is that you could steal someone else's land and then you turn around and sing songs like, this land is my land, get the heck off my land, here is some whiskey and smallpox blankets, I'll rape your mother and kill your father, this land is made for whitey. Now, you want to prevent those crossing the border, those that before you take over owned the Southwest. Meanwhile, you police 150 countries worldwide, but for them you never do what's best. Instead, you rape and privatize your natural resources. See, America steals resources from the world and then tries to prevent the world from coming to their borders to reclaim their own resources. See? Corporations downsizing and outsourcing to cheaper overseas locations to further exploit third world nations. And who does Lou Dobbs blame? The aliens? It would seem to me those who have 2 seconds of sustained sobriety, to those who claim to be intelligent, that the true alien nation will be the system of greedy capitalism and exploitation. It would seem to me that the finger should be pointed to Wall Street and the financial district and Wall Street and, no, not Wall Street, I just already said Wall Street, and the Federal Reserve Bank and Milton Friedman and Ronald Reagan and all those who kept us perpetually dehydrated by their trickle-down economics. So you see, in 2050, there might not be any more Ken and Barbie dolls. An American Idol may not look all American. And for those people of color who have toiled in the shadows, we will finally take center stage instead of being sidekicks or minstrels like Lone Ranger's Tonto and control our own public identity.
Yes.
And the next time we hear, the aliens are coming, the aliens are coming, it'll be a happy greeting to our friends from outer space. Because you see, I love to watch George Lopez on TV, and I would love for him and his whole family to move in next to me. Moving right along. This is called a ghetto question. And this is dedicated to this brother right here. Because he spoke some truth. And we need to hear that. Between a rock and a hard place. Between the joints and the desk space. That is how I came to be. See, my mother said to me, there's no patch in my coat for this house I have built. And the clock struck thrice, and the streets were of ice, and there was nowhere else I could go. So I hung out on the street where the junkies did meet, and the street was not found, and there was only one sound of my innocence, falling to the snow. One day I did creep to where the murder rate lead, to the house my mother built with a missing patch in the quilt, and a gun poised for someone to be snuffed. She looked at me with those eyes I despise. You're a junkie, she said, and you want to eat my bread, and you're waiting to see if I'll bluff. Out in the street were true junkies to me. I remembered my innocence in the snow, wondering if it was me or the painful reality of living in the projects of this land. And a woman called Mother, who had blown my deep cover, shouted, what are you going to do? Almost forgetting who is who as I lurched for the piece in the hand. So here is the scene I've set up for the screen. Another family in the projects broken down. The house always shivers, for it was built by cold rivers where the meek and the innocent drown. Between a rock and a hard place. Between the joint and the desk space. That is how I came to be. Now you figure it out. Between the silence and the shouts, was it my mother who survived? Or was it me? Oh, and please don't be nervous when you come on stage. I screw up all the time on stage. You know, it happens to everybody. You flood lines and everything. No worries. As long as you're speaking from here.
Oh,
now,
this is my stuff.
Everybody knows the story of Emmett Till?
Emmett Till.
Can somebody briefly talk about Emmett Till? Yes, ma'am.
Emmett Till was with his family, and he whistled at a white woman, and the police basically killed him for whistling at a white woman, but he was just doing something that he saw his brothers in them do. So he got killed for basically whistling at a white woman, which was forbidden for a black person to do that.
Now, you are correct about that he was killed for whistling at a white woman. Actually, it was not the police. It was the husband of the woman that he allegedly whistled. Now, understand this. Emmett had a stutter. And his mother told him to get through that stutter to whistle. So we're talking August of 1955 when he's from Chicago, when he traveled down to Money, Mississippi to visit with his family, his great uncle and his cousins. And one thing we have to remember about the South and what makes it so significant. 100 years prior, 1865, the South lost the Civil War. And there is still that anger and hatred because they lost the Civil War. Then we take to 1954. What happened in 1954? You all should know this. You will know this. Brown versus Board of Education, which effectively desegregated the public school system. So you can imagine how those in the South were just enraged about the fact that they have to send their white sons and daughters to sit next to these nigger children. Okay? So here we are a year later. Emmett comes down, and he goes to Brian's meat market and grocery store. And he goes with his cousins, and Emmett wants to get some bubble gum and pop. You know, soda was called pop back then. He goes to ask for bubble gum, and he's stuttering, so he whistles. This woman thinks that he's whistling at her. At the time, her husband was on a trip away from town with his half-brother. And when they came home, she told him about it. And that's when they went to the home of Emmett's family, his great-uncle, Mose Wright. And they said, "Where's that boy?" And they took him. And just as they were about to leave, they asked, "Mose, how old are you?" He said, "I'm 64. They said, "If you ever want to make it to 65, you better not let anybody know what happened here." And they took him to a barn. And they had a .45 caliber pistol. And they beat him with that .45 caliber pistol until his eyes popped out. Wow. Face bloated. I want you to take a look at those photos. Google it, research it. Take a look at the photos of Emmett Till. Then what they did, they shot him through the head after they beat him. And then they took, has anybody ever seen a cotton gin fan? They took at 70 pounds, they took that fan, and they took some barbed wire, and they wrapped that cotton gin fan around his body. And they drove him to the Tallahatchie River and threw him in. And somebody discovered him the next morning. Emmett's body was so badly disfigured that they wanted to have a closed casket. But Emmett's mother, in her courage, said, "I want the world to know what happened to my boy." And they had an open casket. And the world saw what happened to Emmett Till. Jet magazine was a magazine that took the first photos of Emmett Till's body. And Emmett's story went around the world and galvanized the civil rights movement. What I'm going to do for you is a piece on Emmett Till, and I'm going to do him through first person. So when you hear me stutter, that's Emmett. That's Emmett's voice. That's his spirit coming through. Y'all ready?
Yes.